Okay, I want to move on now to the security concerns that police have now identified ahead of the visit to Australia by Israel's President Isaac Herzog. Now, authorities have warned Jewish leaders that they have serious concerns over their ability, that's the police's ability, to keep the Jewish community members safe at events that are linked to this trip. Joining me on the line, the Executive Manager for the Australian Israel Jewish Affairs Council, Joel Burnie. Joel, thanks for your time. I've got to ask, there are fears violent extremists could exploit these protests and endanger Jewish community members. How worried are you about that this visit could actually turn violent?
Well, thank you, Steve. Well, I'm obviously very worried, and I tell you why I'm worried, because my community has experienced a growing and increasingly violent uh, events and actions against it since the massacre of October 7, 2023. This is something that we are unfortunately becoming a little bit used to, where certain members of the Australian public think that it is reasonable to criticise, to attack, and to use violent threats against Jewish people for what they think is going on in the Middle East. And who would have thought, Steve, in this great country and great nation of ours, that after the horrific terror attack of the 14th of December last year, which targeted Jewish people and ended up in the innocent massacre of 15 people, that things in this country could even get worse from there? We're at a point now where I watched the New South Wales Police Commissioner very, very concerned about his inability to protect a segment of Australian society. This is a terrible indictment as to where we are in this nation, and it's incumbent on leaders to stand firm on not only welcoming President Herzog in the spirit that his invitation was intended, but to use whatever means possible to make sure that the streets of Australia are safe for everybody.
Well, somebody's suggesting, I mean, there could be as many as 3,000 police needed to be called out in New South Wales. Joel, I don't recall hearing, and I've been around a long time, the most senior police official of any state alerting a group that you might not be safe. I mean, isn't the job of the police to keep people safe?
Not only is it their job, and I have full faith that they're trying with all the resources that they have to do the right thing. That I am sure of. But if you look at their concern, what it is essentially saying is that these protesters, it's not the message of their protest that they are concerned about. It's the tactics that they are employing during their protests, such as their violent hate speech and rhetoric, but also the probability that the movement and behavior of these protests turn violent. So if we've had a proud history of free speech and protest in this country, walking down streets, chanting, flyers, what have you, that's one thing. But the idea that Jewish people are not going to be able to be protected or potentially not safe in the country that they are a part of because of some attachment to what's going on thousands of kilometers away should not only raise fears inside my community, which it obviously does, but it shows that this nation has moved and progressed to an area that I don't think that the fair 26 million people of this great country are proud of. We need to unite together, arm in arm, after the horrific events of Bondi, and say enough is enough. We want the violence off the streets. We want the violent rhetoric off the streets, and we want every Australian to feel protected, to feel secure, without the anxiety of thinking that people are coming after them.
Well, Joel, on that very point, we've even got a New South Wales Upper House Labor MPs intending to go to these protests around the visit of Herzog. Have a listen to this Upper House MP from New South Wales.
He's a ceremonial head of state, but he still occupies a position of unique responsibility and authority. He deliberately blurred the distinction between combatant and civilian. Many people died after he did that. I think those are parts of the reasons why he's been found to have incited genocide. Is this really someone that we want in our country?
So he's accusing the president of inciting genocide. What do you say, Joel, to these people like that? I mean, and as well as him, you've got other senior MPs, including Ed Husic, saying the president shouldn't come here.
Very simply, to all of your audience, far and wide, they have got it wrong. Let me repeat it. They have got it wrong. They attached this claim to a press conference that was given a couple of weeks after the massacre in 2023, before any troops were in the ground in Gaza. They have completely misquoted the president. They haven't even looked at the rest of the press conference and the answers that he gave to contextualize his previous comments. They got it wrong, and they are relying on misinformation. They will not check. They will not do a Google search because ultimately, Steve, they don't want to. And these are the same people that would roll out the red carpet if Ayatollah Khamenei was invited here after butchering 50,000 of his own people. Where are the protests for the Iranians? Where are the good, fair-minded left, intersectionalized left that have traumatized the Jewish community for over 2 years due to their desire to be, humanitarian warriors? Where is their humanity for anyone else? This is seen by our community as exactly what it is. It is a deep, deep hatred of Jews in this country that has been permissible in public for the past 2 and a bit years, and it culminated in the execution of 15 people on the beaches of Bondi Beach. Enough is enough. This is a great visit for the harmony of the Jewish people who have suffered so much over such a short period of time in this country. The president is coming here to embrace, to give warmth and to give solidarity to this community that is clear for all Australians to see. And this small minority of people that are causing such ruckus on the streets, it has to stop.
Joel, let's hope everyone keeps safe right through it. Thanks for joining us tonight, Joel Burnie there.